This video will provide an introduction to downloading and manipulating data from the Paleobiology database. So when you get to the splash page, you'll see a few options. What we're going to start with is Navigator. So what we see here is a map of the world. Each dot represents a collection of fossils or a collection of fossils. And at the bottom, we have the geological timeline. In the Navigator, double-clicking on any of the time periods at the bottom will zoom you into the timescale, and double-clicking on a higher time period will zoom you back out. If I just want to see collections from the Permian, for example, click here. And you'll see that over on the right-hand side, the filter Permian appears. Now all the dots are some shade of red, indicating that they're within the Permian time period. On the right, the plus and minus icons will zoom you in and out of the map view. And then you can click and drag to scroll around. Now what we're seeing here is not how the continents actually look during the Permian. So if we want to see a paleocontinental reconstruction, we can click on this plates icon. The continental plates icon will provide paleocontinental reconstructions, but only if you're at a fine enough temporal resolution. So if you try to do that for the entire Phanerozoic, it won't work. But for something like the Permian or the Carboniferous, you'll get something like this. Note that the zoom functions no longer work in the paleocontinental reconstruction mode, so it's not as good for zooming in on specific collections in specific geographic areas. You can unclick it again. The bug icon here allows you to search for a specific clade of organism. So you can enter a taxonomic name into the bar. Let's try the genus Canis. And you'll get some options. Now, even though Canis appears over here, I haven't actually added it as a filter yet. In order to do that, I need to click on it again. And now we'll see over on the right, our filters are Permian and Canis. Now, of course, there are no Canis from the Permian, and so there are no dots. So if I zoom out, to the Cenozoic, where there are lots of Canis fossils, we now see all of the yellow dots representing where there are Canis fossils in the Cenozoic. So now on this map, each yellow dot represents a collection that contains a fossil in the genus Canis. If you want to zoom in and get more information, you can use the zoom and scroll bar. So when you're zoomed out, sometimes you'll click on a circle and it'll include more than one collection, so it's always a good idea to zoom in to a pretty close level in order to obtain information about a specific collection. For example, I click here, and I'm not really getting any information. So I'm going to try to zoom in some more. And you can see that what looked like one dot from way back out there is actually a number of overlapping dots. So if I click here, now I get the information I want. The collection number, the number of occurrences, the time period, the location, the reference from which these occurrences came from, the person who actually entered the data, and then if I click on occurrences, I can see all of the different taxa that are found in this area. If I want to save this data, I can use a little disk icon here. Anachronistic, but it gets the point across. However, if I were to save the data right here, all that I would be saving would be the data from these collections here. Okay? So it's only going to save what is shown on your Navigator screen. So if I wanted to save, say, all of the data from Africa, I would zoom out until I had it all on my screen, and then click Save. So most of the time, it's easiest to save it as a comma-separated values or CSV, which can be easily opened in a number of different programs. You can also get a URL to share the data. You can download references, or you can download occurrences. And there you go. Now I can open that data in Excel or another spreadsheet program.